welcome to the House of Hidalgo show. I am Rick Hidalgo Benya, and today is the first day of October 2018. Today's show is titled Corporate Governance, and I'm going to show you in just a few minutes why it is and how it is that the corporation is able to govern pretty much everything in America, and how it is that they fool us into thinking that they're actually a legitimate government when they're actually a corporation and administering things as a corporation. I'm going to show it to you. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's all about the blood. Yep, that's the slogan in the ministry I operate and with the products that I buy. Hi, I'm Rick Hidalgo Benya, and I'm the host of the House of Hidalgo show on YouTube. If you're looking to promote your health with CBD oils, you're looking at a booking. Book greenflowerbotanicals.com for your health needs and use the link provided in the comments section of this video, because doing so will help you cleanse your blood and promote the blood of Jesus to the world. Just join our Healthy for the Blood campaign by ordering through the link below, and a percentage of the sale will benefit my ministry. It's all about the blood.
Sewing Cool Stuff and More of Yankton is your one-stop for general alterations, repairs, and custom sewing and sewing classes. Custom projects from baby blankets and memory quilts to jingle and shawl dance regalia dresses, and everything in between. Sewing Cool Stuff and More.
Okay, welcome back. I'm going to show you some slides now. This is a slideshow that I put together. This is a story about how the corporation governance works. It's a very compelling story. You're going to find out that the corporate government works in a very evil way. And so let me begin the story here. Once upon a time, there was a group, a family, the Flintstone family. I like to use cartoons if I can. The Flintstone family that owned a zoo. They called it the Metro Zoo. Please notice the appellation, upper lowercase, proper grammar, the Metro Zoo. This is owned by a family, and here's the members of the family on the left side, and that's Fred, Wilma, Barney, Betty, Tommy, Sammy, George, and Lincoln. And I know I got away. I didn't put Pebbles and Bam Bam in there. But just for the sake of the story, bear with me. So these are the owners of of a Metro Zoo. Their zoo has animals. They sank every penny into the zoo. And ever since the money power was taken away from them by the United States, they had been having a hard time keeping up with the expenses. It seems that they never have enough. It's just always too little. So they think to themselves, we need to get ahead of this before we lose the zoo by making an effective plan to utilize our assets. This is their ideas. And their assets is animals, land, the apparatus of the zoo itself, etc. Okay, they've got to start making money because they're losing their tails. Now, why are they losing their tails? Well, because inflation, right? The market manipulation by the corporation, and it's the U.S. corporation, that is, and the trade agreements that they've created, which are without tariffs, okay, that protect American businesses. Without those protections, the inflation just keeps going up and up and up, and more things are taxed all the time, and it's just getting overwhelming and they're unable to keep up. So they think to themselves, we need to charter a Metro Zoo corporation, because a corporation would put us in a situation where we can begin to leverage things, and also none of us will have any liability. It'll take the liability away from us, and right now that's a big concern because we don't have the money to keep this operation going. So this zoo is going under, and we're going to go under with it unless we create a corporation. So they create a corporation. It's time to start a corporation, they say. So here it is. They create the Metro Zoo Corp. And of course, they register it with the corporation, with the United States, because, that's just a patriotic thing to do, right? To register with the United States. So they register their business with the United States, and they no longer have any liability personally. Only the property, the animals, the apparatus is at stake. So the family says, okay, we don't all need to be involved in a corporation. Okay, but we're gonna take Sammy over here. We're gonna elect Sammy to be the proxy to this corporation that we've created. So they elect Sammy, and Sammy goes and does the work of the corporation. He puts together a board of people that are into zoological things, okay? People that are into animals, people that want to protect animals, all these kind of things. They put a board together, and the board is now managing the Metro Zoo Corporation. Okay? Now here's where it gets sticky, because you've got two organizations, right? You've got the Metro Zoo and you got the Metro Zoo Corp. Now the people of the Metro Zoo, they still have the option to govern the zoo in a natural fashion, but feeling the pressure that the absence of money and the inflation that it's caused has, in feeling the pressure of all that they've invested their hope into this Metro Zoo, they fully invest in the Metro Zoo Corporation, and whatever decision the board makes is Bible, okay? Because they feel they've lost their ability to control the zoo's finances because of the money system. This Babylonian money system has just got them up a creek and without a paddle. So they have to trust that this Metro Zoo Corp is going to answer their financial needs. So, all the members, Fred, Wilma, Barney, Betty, Tommy, Sammy, George, and Lincoln, all because they're all individually taxed in the labors that they do, they can't maintain the zoo. Okay? They can't do it by themselves because they're getting less and less money to come home with. Inflation, taxation, all of that is just killing them. You can all probably relate to this. And because they can't maintain the zoo, they plead to the Metro Zoo Corporation. They say, Metro Zoo Corporation, save our zoo. Right? Save our zoo. We need you to save our zoo. Do whatever you can to save our zoo. So being a registered corporation under the United States, they plead to the United States. They say, United States, we need help. The zoo, the zoo can't continue as it is because we are lacking funding. Okay, we need more funding, and zoos are really important to the world that we live in. So the United States agrees, yes, you're right, it is important. We're going to do something. We're going to create an act. Okay? We're going to create an act that is going to help save the zoos. We're going to call it the Nature Reserve Act. And this act is going to protect all of nature, okay, within the confound within the parameters of the zoo. Everything in the zoo is going to be protected under the Nature Reserve Act. So the Metro Zoo Corporation creates the act, or lobbies for the act to be created, to protect the zoo, but by qualifying it as a nature reserve. So the owners of the Metro Zoo, the original Metro Zoo, Fred, Wilma, Barney, Betty, Tommy, Sammy, George, and Lincoln, okay, these owners are so impressed and happy that they consent for the act. They're like, yes, we totally need this act. This is so important. So what happens is, suddenly a small window of funding starts to come from all over the place. Checks start to appear from Animal Tech, LLC, Rabbit Vaccine Corp., and Guano Tech Incorporated. These big conglomerate corporations that nobody's ever heard of before start to throw money into the Metro Zoo Corp., and they're feeling really good. They're like, yes, look how happy we are. We're happy because we have so much capital coming in right now. We're going to be able to do this forever. We're so happy. After the window of funding has run its course, the owners of the Metro Zoo, okay, that is Fred, Wilma, Barney, Betty, Tommy, Sammy, George, and Lincoln, begin to notice that the animals aren't acting right. Slowly, one animal after the other disappears or dies, and soon the once opportunistic zoo is a pile of rubble. So, the zoo owners, Fred, Wilma, Barney, Betty, Tommy, Sammy, George, and Lincoln, they say, guys, we got to put together a delegation. So Fred, Betty, Tommy, and Sammy, they go up to the Metro Zoo Corp. That actually they created, okay, and registered with the United States Corp. And they say to the board at that Metro Zoo Corporation that they created that they want answers. What's going on? How come it all fell apart? And here's the answer they get. After the zoo owners send a delegation to the Metro Zoo Corp. To discuss the problems, they find out that the act, remember the Natural Reserve Act, secretly conveyed their interest in the property. Okay? Think about this. This is really important. Secretly conveyed their interest in the property to the principals of the Metro Zoo Corporation. A U.S. registered corporation. So who's the principals of the Metro Zoo Corporation? Indeed, the principals because they surrendered it through the Nature Reserve Act, are the corporate Congress, who has oversight over this act, okay, and all the property of the act. So the Oversight Committee for Congress appoints a corporate Congress appointed management team. You could call them the Bureau of Zoo Management. Who knows? Whatever you want to call them. And these are the guys who are unelected but have administrative right over the Nature Reserve Act, which involves the Metro Zoo. Slowly but surely, they lose all control because they have nothing to fight with. They have no money. They have no interest. They have no assets because they've all slowly deteriorated and died away. Eventually, it's found that many of the animals were used in experiments for vaccinations. And some other of the animals were used, the bats especially, by Guano Tech for experimental cleaning products. Yep, ammonia-based. So, time and time again, this is the cycle that we see going on in the United States corporation. Someone of good intention who thinks that by an act being created, it's going to protect a segment of the United States is actually conveying that part of America into corporate governance. Time and time and time again, this happens. This is what an act does. Why do you believe it's called an act? Why do you think that the act, the empowerment part of it is called a bill? Okay? There's a conveyance happening. There's a conveyance of interest. So, that was the presentation of corporate governance. I hope that you have come to some rational conclusion of why it is that we need to abandon this Babylonian system as quick as possible. And when I come back in 30 seconds, we're going to talk some more about it. Hey, over here. Did you know you can support the House of Hidalgo show and your favorite cause at the same time? At the House of Hidalgo store, we promote conversation starters. Our apparel is sure to get them talking. Stop in at teespring.com/stores/House of Hidalgo or click the link in the description box of this video to gaze upon the creativity. Then just order what you want, when you want it, and have it shipped directly to you. Wow! The House of Hidalgo store is here to serve you. Get conversations started the old-fashioned way. Wear it, don't swear it. And remember, we're all about the blood. Okay, so I hope you got something out of that. We got to start seeing through the veil that they've placed over the corporation. They've got a corporate veil over that corporation that's very difficult to manipulate. And slowly but surely, they're eating up everything that's American. To even begin to comprehend how an act is a usurpation of a true government by this corporation is very difficult to convince people of. But one of the things that you can ask yourself is, does the Constitution give them the power to do the particular act that they're doing? If the answer is no, they don't have a constitutional mandate, a constitutional delegation to do that, then more than likely they're operating under a territorial clause or, a commerce clause, which is the clause that they effectively operate under as a corporation. So they have administrative authority over all of the entities, instrumentalities who come under it. Okay, so if you're forming a corporation and registering it with the United States in order to do some kind of business and protect yourself liability-wise, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're actually giving over the ability to administrate your work to a Babylonian corporation that in the end is going to continue to eat up what really matters: the land, the property, the apparatus. Okay, let's think about for a second an apparatus that they've already pretty much taken over. Look at the medical field. The whole medical apparatus is pretty much taken over. I mean, if you're if you're a holistic practitioner and you do things outside the box, you're looked at as a kook, okay? And you're pretty much eaten up by this medical mafia. And the way that they've really put people into a corner on the private side is by creating acts through the corporate Congress that most people, when they read it, they read the act, they see it as a legitimate act, but it's written in such a way as to fool you into thinking that the act is coming from some government entity that's protecting that particular part of American society, where actually it's an act to create a trust to dismantle that part of America. It's been a tactic by the corporation for a long time, and our last CEO before God bless Mr. Trump, before Mr. Trump was really bad about creating Affordable Care Acts and stuff like that. And once you understand what actually happens through that act, there is it captures the creativity and imagination of Americans and doesn't allow for creativity. Everything is governed. Everything is administrated. Every dot, every tittle. So I'm telling you, it's a very intelligent scheme, but it's a Babylonian scheme. The way that they subjugate and usurp a people is absolutely amazing. It's evil as all get out, but it's amazing to watch. And it took me a long time to start to see how this is operating and working. But it's a fact. So you do your own research. You find out for yourself. If you want more detailed information, become a patron. Patrons get the benefit of extra content that you don't see on the House of Hidalgo show. I have a lot of side episodes that I do. You can become a patron for $1 or more a month. I would encourage you to go to the $5 or more category. You got more content there that I make available to people who become a patron at the $5 or more a month level. And you now understand what you get from being a patron. Let me tell you what I get. I'm putting together a world-class ministry that's going to revolutionize pro wrestling and how it's used, okay, in this country. Right now, when you say pro wrestling in America, there's one company that comes up. Everyone talks about the name I'm not allowed to say. The 3 letters, starts with W, ends with E. Okay? Those letters that represent that company, okay, that company, bless their heart, they do what they do. They do what they know they can do. Because they're statutorily inclined and they've got a guild of lawyers who keep them in the right on the statutory side, on the public corporate fiction side. But we have a plan. I have a plan with Trinity Wrestling America that's going to revolutionize it, and it's going to be used for the works of Christ. It's going to be amazing. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing. You have no idea how big this is. And every dime that you contribute as a patron to me, you're helping to benefit that plan. Okay, I need equipment. I need a big top tent, and I need video equipment. And I need it in a hurry because my plan is to start in spring. So if you help me, as a patron, I promise I'm going to keep pumping out the content. And the content I'm pumping out is going to continue to help you to learn and to advance as the people. okay, and to help you to keep from making the mistakes that we've been making for years. So with that said, I think that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching the House of Hidalgo show. It's always a privilege to be with you. And I'll see you next Monday when we'll have another episode. Today was the 15th episode. Let's keep her going. God bless. And remember, everything we do is all about the blood.
Think of what you